Julian Edelman's going to the Hall of Fame. And it's not it's not as Tom Brady's guest. It's not as a patron. Now, hold on. Listen, because you agree with me. Like, Edelman's in the Hall of Fame. I think the question is it stupid to say that he's not? What is wrong?
Adam Rank. He's nowhere even close to being in the Hall of Fame. There is no chance in hell this guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's got 620 receptions. He ranks, 75th in receptions. He ranks 156th in receiving yards. His 36 touchdowns is outside of the top 250. Even if you take his 6-year prime, he averaged 965 yards per season. 965 yards per season.
Listen,
he averaged 5.3 touchdowns per season.
This is such a
Come on, dude.
You guys have been in fantasy football for far too long that if all you're doing, if the Hall of Fame is I'm opening Pro Football Reference and I'm going to pick the guy who had the most yards. If I'm not mistaken, at some point, if he hasn't done it already, and if not, he's close. Frank Gore might end up with more rushing yards than Walter Payton. So would you legitimately sit here and be like, well, Frank Gore's obviously better. He had more yards. And I think
there's two arguments here, Adam Rank. Whether or not he belongs in the Hall and whether or not he's better than said player.
Okay,
in your argument, Frank Gore belongs in the Hall, but he's not better than Walter Payton. Come on now.
All right, that's fair. I know that Julian Edelman doesn't have the prolific numbers that somebody like Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, guys who are playing when he's playing have put up, who are obvious Hall of Famers. This is my criteria for judging the Hall of Fame, is that I've always judged people on the impact that they have made in the game. If you're sitting here and I'm telling my child about the last 10 years of the NFL, Dwayne Bowe might have had more yards than Julian Edelman. Dwayne Bowe is never being mentioned in this story. Julian Edelman has been a big factor in so many plays. Like, you think about the touchdown pass that he threw to Danny Amendola. He scored the go-ahead touchdown against the Seahawks in that Super Bowl. He had that miracle catch against the Falcons that allowed them to rally. And for me, I think that it's more important that you were at your best on the biggest stage. And to me, he kind of compares favorably to Lynn Swann, Fred Biletnikoff, Michael Irvin. Lynn Swann didn't lead the league in receiving. Fred Biletnikoff did it once. Michael Irvin did it once. And by the way, you measure receiving by receptions, not yards. We got to remember that as well. So for me, when I'm voting on the Hall of Fame, Edelman is not Ricky Prohl. That's just no.
Listen, man, this is a player who has had 3 1,000-yard receiving seasons. This is a man who has never made the Pro Bowl. Never.
Because his team's always in the playoffs. Why is so Mitch Trubisky made the Pro Bowl?
Listen, you
David
talk
Garrard
about guys
made
like
the Pro
Lynn
Bowl.
Swann. You talk about guys like Fred Biletnikoff.
But the Pro Bowl mattered back then.
Listen, at what point was Julian Edelman considered by anyone in the league to be a top 5 wide receiver? I mean, again, you want to talk about, let's say his teammate Gronk, shortened career, but whatever, maybe the stats don't line up for him to be the greatest or whatever it is. But the dude, when he was on the field throughout the regular season, throughout the postseason, that dude was a monster. And everyone considered that dude to be a top 2 tight end whenever he stepped on the field. Julian Edelman, not that guy. 0 Pro Bowls. I mean, come on, my dude.
Pro Bowl. I love the Pro Bowl argument.
Edelman, in 11 years, he's made 0?
I feel like I'm the only one who understands the way the Pro Football Hall of Fame works. And I get like,
you're the only one.
No, because you and Will Brinson and all these other guys and the Barstool guys are just going after it as like a practicality of like, he doesn't have the numbers to get in. He shouldn't be qualified. I don't know. Again, it comes down to me, like, how big of an impact did you make on the game? And to me, you cannot talk about the last decade of NFL football without mentioning Julian Edelman. And for that reason, I would vote him in. He's getting in. So just get used to it.